Good morning, friends. Hello, how are you? Tanja here. Welcome to Tea with Tanja Lee, your regular cup of consciousness packed with loose leaf lessons and fully brewed blessings, all infused with self-love, self-awareness, personal development blends to help you heal and release the past, get clear about your passion and purpose, and inspire you to become a masterful manifester. Now we have our fabulous usual suspects joining. G'day, Rod, Nye, Erin, Kate. Good morning. I hope you've had a really beautiful weekend. Hey, Christy. Hey, Amanda. A few other people I haven't said hello to yet. Kylie, good morning. How are you? How are you doing on the 1st of June? It is the beginning of a brand new month. Good morning, my friend Greg. Always lovely to have you on board. Always lovely to have you here. Good morning, Suzanne. How are you? Type in one word to let me know how you're feeling. Good morning, Joe, Libby, Raina, good morning. Hi, how am I feeling? I feel a little bit I feel great to be here with you because when I'm here with you, I'm on purpose. Thank you. I'm radiant because I've got my V Rose Apothecary amazing Eros oil on my face. I've got so much to share about that. I had a great photo shoot on the weekend and I'm feeling a bit I don't even have a word for it because obviously there is a lot of unrest happening around the world right now. I don't want to spend too much time on that because there's a lot of conversation around that, but I wanted just to check in and see how you're feeling and also just briefly before we get into an intentional Monday, because Monday is all about setting an intention. What is it that you would love for yourself and your life? Hey Mary, where are you feeling stuck and how can I be of service and how can this community be of service to helping you have a breakthrough? So before we get into that, we know that there is a lot of unrest in the world, particularly with what has happened with George Floyd. The offending officer, Derek Chauvin, has been charged with murder, and it took about 5 days to make that happen, and that happened because of the power of the people. Here's my intention inside of Intentional Monday. I'm glad that you're grateful, Savannah. That's beautiful. Jacinda, good morning. Hugo, Canberra, hey, how are you? Mary's feeling fresh. Good morning, fresh, ready for a new week, new month, and plenty of change, Fiona. Yes, bring it on. Good morning, Catherine and Belinda. Here is just what I want to offer in the space. To me, this is not a conversation about race or color or religion or gender or sexual orientation or your dietary preferences. I don't want to actually see posts about Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, not because I don't care. What I intend, what I would love is that humans matter. I believe the more we post Black Lives Matter, we're still isolating people and humanity. We're still segregating community. We're still segregating race when we isolate. So what I intend to do in my contribution to the planet is, for me, it is not about only treating the symptoms, it's about treating the cause. And the cause of this behavior is when people are seeking power. Why do people seek more power than they need? Why do they overcompensate by dominating? Is because they are deeply wounded, deeply hurt, and deeply insecure. This is the systemic problem, that we as human beings are not being responsible for our misplaced emotions. And the little bit that I'm going to do for humanity is one conversation at a time, one healing session at a time. It's about bringing consciousness to our pain. It's about bringing awareness to our misplaced power. And it's definitely not about asserting that power on other people. It is about letting go of ego, yes. Now, it's a really big conversation. It's a really big exploration. All lives matter, including animals. If you're furry, feathered, scaled, skinned, it doesn't matter. If you have a heartbeat and if you have the gift of this thing called life, you matter. So what do I believe that we can do? It starts with self. When we are projecting our fears, when we are letting our insecurities run rife, and where we are misplacing our power, whether it be through judgment, through ridicule, through domination, through poor behavior, when we're trying to siphon the power of another, it is because we are feeling deeply wounded and insecure, and that's the part I believe we need to heal. It's a big healing that needs to occur, but I don't think fighting with violence, or if there's looting, we send in we start shooting, is the answer. This world needs much better leadership, and the leadership we need is the leadership of love. So my invitation today is, please, let's start with ourselves, loving ourselves. I'm certainly practicing that homework myself. And let's love thy neighbor, and let's love thy human, and let's love thy being regardless of color. And the sooner we remove the color of our skin from the conversation, we start to create wholeness and one. That is my point of view. Red Cross mantra, the power of humanity. Amen to that. So your thoughts, please feel free. Cheers to you, to another week, to another day, to another breath, to another moment, to have this thing called life, which is a gift. And this moment is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And let's get present to what you would love. It doesn't have to be work related. It can be parenting, partnering. It could be what's happening in the world. What would you love? What is your intention for yourself and your life this week? And how may I and this community be of service to you? Whether you're tuning in on Facebook, whether you're tuning here on Instagram, if you're tuning in on Instagram, start to drop your awareness out of your head, drop into your heart, and ask yourself, what would you love? And where are you stuck, and how can I help? And type it in here on Facebook or here on Instagram. Beautiful words. Thank you, Joe. Look, it's just, that's my intention. My intention is to be of service to the healing of the hearts that are wounded, where we misplace our power and we hurt other people as a result. To generate sales, says Christy. Well, is your website live, my love? The Christy wants to generate sales. Awesome. So here's your opportunity. Christy from Bucketful of Rainbows has a beautiful site. Is it up and happening? To sell awesome art, which is a legacy to her mum that passed. And her art, from my perspective, is full of joy, full of love, full of possibility, full of hope, full of wonder. It has a space of innocence within its energy, which is in no sense. It's not from rational mind. It's all from deep, loving emotion. And it's just feel good work. It's feel good work. Saskia, I would love to feel more connected to my toddler. Beautiful. It's a beautiful intention. KKK, intention is to get back to a healthy and mindfulness routine to help myself out of my rut. Yes, you know what I recommend? I'm always recommending Savers, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. This is the book and this is the program to get yourself into a beautiful routine. 6 habits that will change your life before 8 a.m. Highly recommend that. You're welcome, Christy. What would you love? I want to tune in and I'm going to choose one. They're all super valid, but I always choose one that I think is going to be of a particular resonance with the wider the community. Love, support, and positivity, laughter as I go through open ear surgery. Well, Catherine is about to have open ear surgery, so let's bring the intention of sending her some love and light and visualizing a great result. Love, support, and positivity to you. What would you intend? What would you love? Type it in. If I had a crystal ball and I could bestow on you some magic and mojo to get you in a great momentum, what would you love? Heat. Open heat surgery. Open ear surgery, open hair surgery. We had another double rainbow in Port Lincoln yesterday, says Melissa Turner. Christy, that one's for you. I'm going to give you one more minute to keep typing in your intentions. What would you love? I would love to help you produce a breakthrough for yourself. And you're like, open heart. Is it heart surgery, Catherine? Are you having open heart surgery today? Wow. Okay, Catherine is having open heart surgery. There are a team of surgeons that are going to be working on healing her heart, elevating the vitality, making it more functional, efficient, and effective. Let's just take a moment to send some love through Instagram and Facebook for a member of our community that her heart is being operated on. Okay. Yes. If I had a magic wand, I would like the world to heal. Yes, well, the world will heal when we heal our pain, when we heal our suffering. You know, my friends, there are two lanes in life. It is really this simple. There is the lane of love and the lane of fear. Love is when we're in our heart, when we are the predominant creator of our own reality, and we go directly for what we love. We don't seek validation. We don't need permission. We just honor the inner landscape and the voice within. Fear is where most of us are. Fear is the landscape of the ego. It is where we believe that we are not good enough, so we overcompensate by acting bigger, more powerful, or dominate others. We all do it to varying degrees. Kylie saying, lead by example in an effort to help my hubby out of his funk. Yes, good morning, Luna. Great intention. Thinking of you and sending you healing thoughts, Catherine. Isn't that beautiful, this community? Saskia, you are the winner today. I'm going to share with you why you would love to feel more connected to my toddler, and here's my invitation. If you're listening to this, think about something or someone that you would love to feel more connected to. So as usual, as I share some information that will hopefully be of service to you having a breakthrough, whether you're Saskia or somebody else. Good morning, Fairy Mary. Thank you for my walk with you in Sassafras yesterday. Please, the intention that we're fulfilling today is Saskia is written in saying, I would love to feel more connected with my toddler. I'm going to respond to that one, but I invite you to listen to something you would love to feel more connected to: yourself, your partner, your kids, your projects, your business. Listen from that place. As you hear things coming out, as you hear messages coming through, if you like the sound of them, write them in so you can have a kinesthetic relationship to it. And also we can all learn from your perspective. Saskia, are you ready to work with me, my love? And as always, I ask that this community is super supportive with your love. Hopeful that my internal voice becomes louder for me to hear it loud and clear. Oh, yes, I definitely get that one, Claire. Definitely feel that one. All right. Saskia, can you tell me so your intention is to feel more love and to feel more connected to your toddler. Can you share with us, hun, what do you think is getting in the way of that? What do you think is currently getting in the way of you feeling connected and loved? So she's saying she's ready, and I'm sure she's super grateful for all of your energy and all of your efforts. So you'd love to feel more connected and with your toddler. What is getting in the way of it? So for those that haven't asked the question, think about someone or something that you would love to be more connected to, and you can answer too, because then I'll support more than one person. And what do you think? So type in, what would you love to be more connected to? And then type in, what do you think is getting in the way? G'day, Carney Paris in the house. Good morning, my love. Margot, good morning to you. So Saskia, what do you think is getting in the way? Type it in as fast as you can. For those that have just joined, this is Intentional Monday. This is where I work with one individual, but answered in a way that can actually get a message across to more people. The question we're answering this morning is, Saskia, a question of how can I feel more love and connected to my toddler? I'm going to respond to her question, but in a way where you all can get value out of it if you think about someone, including yourself, that you would love to be, can feel love and connected to. Okay, so Saskia is saying what's getting in the way is distraction and living in the fear lane. Okay, so distraction, I got it. Saskia, what is it that you are afraid of? You're living in the fear lane. Be specific, if you will. Be so vulnerable. What are you living in the fear of? Hey, Claire. Have a great day, Robbie. How are you, Carney? I miss your face. We need to chat. How's your new home? What are you living in fear of? Same with all of you that are also on here. What would you love to be more connected to? What's getting in the way? And, how can we be of service? So Saskia is typing in. If you have something that you want to be more connected to, what the first thing I would offer as Saskia is writing what she's afraid of is you need to have a look at your values. See, we will always spend time in the areas that we value. And so it might also be not that you value it, but it's a need or a necessity. So certainly in COVID, many of us have had to really spend time in our business being innovative to make sure we still have income coming in to meet our monthly expenses and to provide for our family. So, sometimes you just got to head down, bum up and do not what you'd love and not what you'd value, but what is needed to, inverted commas, survive life. Ranif, I feel triggered. Racism is shown me on a daily basis due to wearing a moko. Kiao tattoo on my chin that shows who my ancestors are. I absolutely feel like humans matter. However, I feel like bringing into society the consciousness of racism needs to happen. My intention is to begin to be more vulnerable in the things that matter to me. I want to hold strong in how I feel rather than be in a place of fear, triggered when I get a sideways look. Oh, yes, we could spend a lot of time on this. Thank you for your bravery and your honesty here. Here's my, I was watching a little bit of news early this morning, and Saskia, when you type in what you're afraid of, hun, I can respond to that. One of the things that I do like about what is coming up with this surge of the conversation about racism is it's coming up, is it's the consciousness is bringing it to the forefront, and the power of humanity coming together and healing is what's shifting the results that are happening in the world. So, when we wear tattoos on our chin, when we have shaved heads, when we, have missing limbs, when we have different color, when we are different, it's not actually about the tattoo, the color of the skin, it's difference. And our egos look for the same. We want the same, because when things are the same level of power, the same level of money, the same look, the same beliefs, then we feel safe. Often we don't feel safe if we are different. People judge people because they're different, because they don't have an open heart and an open mind, and they don't feel safe. We are in fear and we are closed. That's why we judge. The work here is, as you say, Rihanna, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right, is to be open. The fact that you say your solution is to be vulnerable and stand strong when you get a sideways look. Here's my coaching to you, my love. No matter how anyone looks at you sideways, that's what happened, but it's what you make it mean as a result. Are you making it mean something about your chin, something about your culture, something about your ancestors? You never know what they're thinking. And I'll share a little story about that before I respond to Saskia's thing that's stopping her and what's making her fearful. I've shared this story before, but I'm going to say it again. And Rihanna, listen if there's anything here for you. Many, many moons ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I did a really powerful leadership training. And in the leadership training, we had to stand in a room in front of people and communicate and share authentically. And there was a panel of people at the back of the room that were assessing how authentic we were communicating, whether we were coming from intimidation, whether we were coming from like clean, wholehearted communication, where we were coming from manipulation or aggression, and what our energy was communicating. It wasn't a speaker training of stand there, hold your hand there, turn to the left, turn to the right. This was about authentic communication. It was the kind of course that if you looked in the mirror, you smashed it and then you rebuilt yourself. Super powerful. In this one session, I was standing up the front, about 120 participants in the training, with a eye wire down the middle and the panel of assessors or guides, facilitators. And I remember standing up, and I can't even remember what I was talking about, but I was talking about something. And there was a lady in the front, Lucia Cardamone. She's an absolute friend of mine right now, and has been this whole time. However, we didn't really know each other then. She was sitting in the front row. Rani, listen to this, Rihanna. And as I'm speaking, she looked at me and looked away. And I'm up there communicating, and as I'm communicating, my subconscious, my ego went, she doesn't like me. She thinks I'm a wanker. She thinks I'm full of myself. She thinks, who do I think I am? Up there, like my head, my ego is going to town whilst I'm still communicating, right? I was aware of the two things going on, which was part of the training too. Be aware if something happens, what you make it mean, and where there's a loss of power, when your focus gets on yourself and you're no longer connected with your audience or the person that you're with. So the practice was, when that happened, you went and cleaned it up. So Rihanna, after I spoke, I went up to Lucia and I said, and I felt like an absolute child, but this was the work. I went up to her and I said, Lucia, when I was up there presenting, you looked at me and you looked away. And I made it mean that you think I'm full of myself. You think, who do I think I am? You think I'm egotistical and arrogant. That was my meaning, just by a look. And she said to me, oh my God, are you kidding? She said, I was thinking, wow, I wish I was as confident as her. I wish I could stand there and just be as open and free as her when she was speaking. So my lesson there was, I absolutely misinterpreted a look. And I know I've done this for years in my life. Have you done this? Have you thought something or responded to an email or a text or a word or a conversation with someone, and they absolutely didn't intend it to land the way it landed, but you felt fully triggered and insecure? So that's what I want to offer there is, Rihanna, I love you for honoring your culture and your truth and your ancestors. You're wearing it proudly on your chin. And you cannot influence or change how other people see you and how they look at you. But you can absolutely influence what you say to yourself as a result. Suzanne is saying, yes, she's had this twice this week. So my invitation to you, my love, is when we become hyper conscious. And I was doing this yesterday with my girlfriend, Fairy Mary. I had some funk coming up yesterday. I had some looped patterns going on in my mind. I was being really hard on myself yesterday, and I had to keep catching it. I had to keep catching it and bringing love and compassion to the transformation and transition I'm currently in. And we're always in transformations and transitions, but it is not it's not people looking at us that is the problem. The problem is what we tell ourselves as a result. Now, when they're verbally abusive and they come into our face, and yes, that is a problem. But Rihanna, if I can offer you something, my love, is please be aware of what you're telling yourself internally as a result. And when you catch yourself creating a disempowered judgment of their perceived judgment, get responsible for it and transmute it by giving yourself love and sending them love and staying true and vulnerable to the truth of you honoring your ancestors, because that's you living your life. So I hope that provides something for you, Rihanna. And I'm just sending you so much love. Watch what you say because you are listening. Yes, yes, yes. Amen. Past history and hurt, protecting myself. Okay, Saskia has written here. So again, friends, this is a beautiful community where we open-heartedly be of service to other people. Saskia's saying here, I'm not happy. I want a career, but I want to connect with him, and I don't want to miss out on the time whilst he is young. I find I don't play enough with him. My partner lost his job and gets all the time with my son whilst I work. Oh yeah, I feel you, honey. Very jealous of that time. I got it. But then the time I do get, I don't feel like I'm making the most of it, and I'm giving him my whole heart, and I'm not, and making the most of it and giving him my whole heart. Ooh, girl. Okay, here we go. By the way, Saskia, I think you just recreated in your words a whole lot of people. Saskia, that sounds amazing. What type of course event is this? I would love to find that so valuable. All right, I'll come back to that. So, relatable. K for Cat says, relatable. So many of us want to be connected to our kids, our partner, ourselves, and then we also want other things. Like at the moment, you know, I've got an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old, and we live here in Safety Beach, but my heart is calling to move house. My heart is calling to move to a different location and really live my life. Yet I'm also navigating, I'm a mum of 2 kids who are in school in this, and I'm still completely devoted to them. So it's kind of like, how do we honor what we want, whether it be a career or a move to Mullumbimby in Byron Bay, or, you know, something else. So first thing, Saskia, what I want to offer you is my acknowledgement of you being a conscious mum. You are aware that you're not giving your son, what's his name, by the way? You're not giving your son the best of you, but you're also aware that there are desires in you and authentic feelings in you of feeling jealous because of this precious time. And I also want to acknowledge you for taking a level of responsibility for going to work because your partner lost his job. So first of all, I acknowledge you for stepping up and stepping into both the masculine and feminine, the nurturer and the provider at a time when life has changed. Okay, I acknowledge you. It's not an easy gig being a parent. It's not an easy gig being a working parent. And it's not an easy gig having a young one and being a mum who wants to naturally nurture. So the first thing to you is you're doing a great job. By the way, all of you that are parenting and partnering and supporting your partners, you too, me too, we're doing a bloody great job. That's the first thing. Start to have an attitude of gratitude for what you are doing. Less whip, more wand. Saskia, that's my first piece of coaching to you. Instead of focusing on what you don't have and the lack that you don't have and what you're missing out on and then beating yourself up because you're not present, stop the press and start to acknowledge, celebrate, and honor the fact that you're stepping in, stepping up, and providing for your family, whether that's nurturing or whether that's working right now. Max, he's amazing, and I follow a gentle attachment parenting approach. We still co-sleep and breastfeed, so tired with the lack of sleep too. Of course, honey, and you got to give yourself the oxygen before anybody else. Catherine says, yes. Oh, honey, wow, Saskia, that is challenging, says Christy. Good morning, Diane. So, Saskia, number one, can you start putting down the whip, less whip, more wand, and can you start really acknowledging yourself for the work that you are doing, the efforts that you are making? Number one. Number two, is your partner actively looking for work, and is your partner also providing support with the homework? Because running a home with a toddler is running a family business, and that takes energy. So if you're still co-sleeping, if you're still breastfeeding, and you're still working, you have, look at me, you have all your energy pouring into others to bring energy back in to provide for the nucleus of your unity at home. So you must start to communicate to your partner, if you haven't already, your needs around what he can energetically bring to the house. And Saskia, once again, can you be grateful that you've got a man that's conscious enough to support you and Max with the home life whilst you go and do the work life? And is your partner supporting you with what needs to be done at home? Yes, I take him to the garden to connect with the earth. That helps me. Beautiful. Saskia, is your partner supporting you at home? Because that's really important. The lesson here too, my friends, if you're listening to this from a different place because you're not Saskia, this is about boundaries. This is about teamwork. I have a lot of clients who, especially the females, are working harder from an hour's perspective and earning more money than their partner. And what's happening is they're also not necessarily feeling like they're getting the level of support they need at home, and they're getting a bit resentful and tired and resigned. And the practice and the work here is to communicate what you need, not make them wrong for what you're not getting. Easier said than done at times, but just to communicate what you need so you can work together as a conscious team. So Saskia, the first thing is love yourself, acknowledge yourself for the contribution that you are making for Max and your partner. Two, be grateful for the support that you are getting. Having an attitude of gratitude will elevate your altitude, and be grateful for what you've got. Three, sit down and create a structure of support to make sure that your load isn't more or heavier than your partner's load. So Saskia, I need to get some feedback from you on your partner's load. Claire is, yes, such a liberating realization. Not really, but I'm not communicating and taking it on my shoulders. He will cook dinner in the evening, yes, resigned to the relationship as it is. And there it is. There's where the resentment is, my love. That's the key. You're not being met in your relationship. You're not being supported in your relationship to the degree that you need to. You're resentful. Resent lowers your love, shrinks your love to yourself, others, in the world, and you are operating on top of resentment. That you're grateful for the dinners, fantastic, but you are resigned in the relationship and you're not communicating, so you're resentful because you're not speaking your truth for whatever reason. He'll cook dinner, that's amazing, but you need to start speaking up. And this is an energy game. You're pouring more energy out and you're feeling resentful because your partner gets to play with Max and you don't get to play as much. And when you are with Max, you're stressing about work, the things you haven't got done, the things that aren't done in the house, and all of it. I get it. I've been there too. Hey, Elish. Cheers, Jojo. So Jojo, Saskia, that's the work you need to do. You need to get really clear, and I invite you to mind map, and everyone else that's watching this, you can mind map what the funk is. So you just get a big piece of paper and you just start writing down and mind mapping. What are you resentful for? What are you anxious about? What are you frustrated about? And get it out of your head and off your chest and out of your heart and onto paper. Start getting onto paper so you can have a disassociated relationship with that which is, holding up your funk. And then look at it separately and go, okay, if I was to focus on one thing here, and I'm intuitively, Saskia, getting that it is the resentfulness of the lack of help to the level that you need, pouring yourself into breastfeeding, co-sleeping, working whilst your partner's not working and does dinner, that resentment is what you're operating on top of. You take care of that. You're a hologram. What will open up, first of all, is that you're speaking your truth. You're making requests for what you need. You're drawing your boundaries because you cannot be everything to everyone. I feel like it's not worth making the effort as it won't change, or I will have to do all the work. Well, then you'll get to be right about that belief, Saskia. So Saskia, what I can hear in that, and everybody else listening, listen for yourself. Where is this happening in your world? Where is there a dysfunctional element in your relationship, whether it be personal or professional? Where are you not speaking up? And what a disempowered belief is fueling that orientation? So Saskia, thank you for your honesty. You feel like it's not worth making an effort as it won't change. And the reason you feel like that is because you've tried in the past and you have no evidence of transformation. And then you have to do all the work. Am I right? You've tried it in the past. You've spoken in the past. You've asked for what you need. Maybe you got a head nod or whatever. And here you are again. Groundhog Day. No breakthrough. What I want to say here is, it's very easy for us to blame others when we don't get the results that we desire, when we aren't getting our needs met. And my work as a peak performance coach, as a leading life coach, is to work with you because you're the one that's here. I can't work with your partner. I can't work with your teammates. Saskia's like, yep, exclamation mark. Of course, she feels that because she has evidence of trying and it not working. So Saskia, here's what I want to offer you and everybody else tuning in, but listen from your own place. Christy's saying, sending heartfelt compassion. Speak up, honey. Tell home how you are feeling. So she already has, and she has evidence that it is not working. Mother's Day has really been disappointing for 3 years. Oh, girl, don't get me started on that. Expectation is a recipe for disappointment. I've been there numerous times. So, Saskia, here's my other piece of coaching. You will never get access to producing a transformation when you're addicted to being right about your disempowered belief that it's not worth it. You'll never cause a result in the world from a disempowered belief. My friends, when you want to create something and make something happen in the world, when you are making requests and your requests aren't being met, rather than pointing the finger at what the other person is not doing, him not home, says Christy, is look at where is my communication ineffective. If you're saying what you want, I want that chair to be put from here to here, and the other person that you're asking it for is not putting the chair from here to here, try on in the fitting room of life to give you access to power. Your communication is ineffective. Sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow, but can you see that, Saskia? And can you see that you're gathering evidence from 3 Mother's Days that it's a big disappointment? Saskia, can you see that your communication of what you desire, what you need, is ineffective? And for those listening, have you got any area of your life where you're asking for something and your communication is ineffective? So if your communication is ineffective, what can you do about it? Well, you need to actually sit down and rather than, and I've been studying a little bit with a man called John Wineland about and you can follow him on Instagram. He's a yogic teacher. He teaches men's circles, teaches about pathways of enlightenment and masculine and feminine energies, how we can own and embody the masculine and feminine in us, and how we can, if we're feminine, what is it that men crave in the feminine, and if we're masculine, what is it the feminine craves from the masculine, so we can create wholehearted, juicy, harmonious relationships. And I'm learning a lot around this, Saskia, and I'm learning that particularly with men, and I've made this mistake in my marriage in the past. Saskia says yes, absolutely, good. So when I've communicated in a frustrated and angry way about what that person isn't doing, what happens from what I'm learning and my own experience is the masculine will get triggered and defensive because you're putting him down or saying what he's not doing. And how the masculine wants to hear, because men love to be needed, they love to provide, they love to fix and sort and provide solutions. And if they feel, yeah, it's tried on in the fitting room of life. If it doesn't fit, if it makes your bum look big, Joe, we get rid of it. But I like to invite people to try things on, see if it works. I'm scared to do it and get met by him with frustration and rejection, and that he feels attacked. Here we go. Saskia, listen to me. This is what I've been studying in the last week. Men feel attacked and judged and get defensive and shut down, my love, when we are communicating in a way that is personal and putting them down. we're not meaning to put them down, but if we're frustrated in our communication and saying you're not doing this and you don't do that, we're going to trigger their defensiveness. The wall is going to come up and we're going to get that energy. Okay? No matter how conscious he is. John Wineland. Yes, he is amazing. He is Claire Weiland's dad, the most incredible human in legacy. Ooh, awesome. So, he's amazing. Check him out. Saskia and everyone and me, here's the learning. When we communicate from a way of, look, because this is what we unconsciously do. And this is why a lot of global issues are happening and racism happens, because we blame others for the way we feel. We blame others for our insecurities and inferiority complexes. We need to take personal responsibility and ownership for our own emotion, which is energy in motion. And that's what you need to do here, Saskia. It is not, you're not frustrated because you don't have time with Max. You are frustrated because you are not being met. You are overloaded. You are using your buzzies to feed another human being. You're using your energy to feed a position at work, to bring money, to bring energy into the business. Your partner does not have a job. He cooks dinners. Thank you for cooking dinners. But there's the weight of the rest of the world on your shoulder, and you are resigned and resentful. So you're not speaking up. You're not being a creator of your own reality. You are being a victim of circumstance. I say that with a lot of love, sister, but you are, okay? Consider you are. A victim of circumstance is just meaning someone that feels like they don't have the power to change something. You've communicated it because you feel scared about his response. Your work is to sit down with him and say to him, what's his name? What's your partner's name, Saskia? So you're going to sit down with him and say, Fairy Mary saying, this also reminds me that everyone has their own love language. We give love in the way we want it. Yes, thank you, Fairy Mary. A great reminder of Dr. I think it's David Gray's five love languages. Saskia's saying, I hear that and agree. Great, awesome work. So you need to, so what's your man's name, hun? You need to sit down and actually say something like this, but can you give me his name so I can make it really specific? And if you're not familiar with the 5 love languages that Fairy Mary just reminded us of, it's an amazing book called The 5 Love Languages. And if you go on to Google, you can type in 5 love languages quiz, and you can do a free quiz to find out if your love language is acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch and affection, quality time, or tangible gifts. Aiden is a quality time and words of affirmation, and that's what's happening. Saskia, yours, or she's done. Saskia's done the 5 love languages. Mine's is gifts and acts of service. Well, there we go. So you've given up on communicating to him, because when you're communicating to him, you're bringing all the past and all your frustration to the communication. Everyone else, listen from your place, listen from your perspective, listen from where the dysfunctionality may be in your relationships. And by the way, thank you for tuning in. Is this making sense? Can you share, type in what you're hearing for yourself, what you're hearing in your own relationships? So Saskia and Aiden have done the love languages. Now, Saskia, if you are communicating from a place of frustration, you're not giving him his love language of words of affirmation. The best thing you can do is sit down and say, Aiden, can we sit down and you make some quality time, right? His number 1 love language. And you say, Aiden, I've realized something for myself over the past couple of days. I've really been sitting with what's there for me in our relationship, in our life right now. And Saskia's like, I love it. And Max is physical touch. He loves cuddle. Oh, how beautiful. He's lucky to have both of you, hun. Here's the other thing, by the way. If you're a leader listening to this, if you're a partner listening to this, here's the truth. We're all working with the best intentions. We are all working with the level of consciousness that we have at the time. So give yourself and other people credit for doing their best. We're either in fear or we're in love. Saskia's in fear. She's scared. She's not in love. And when we're communicating from fear, the other person's only going to get defensive. So Saskia, my invitation is sit Aiden down and say, Aiden, I really want to connect, and I want to have a conversation with you, because I've really noticed in myself that if I'm truthful and I want to be really honest, I've been feeling really resigned, really resentful, really scared, really tired, actually exhausted. And I'm doing my best to be a conscious mum of our son Max, to work and provide for our family, which I'm happy to do. and to then also be present with you. And what I'm finding is because a lot of my energy is going out to other things and other people, I don't have a lot to give. And I'm noticing I have an expectation of you to provide more with housework or support. And because perhaps my expectations aren't being met, I'm getting resentful. And inside of that resentfulness, I'm shutting down my heart to you, I'm disconnecting from you, and I'm not communicating to you, which is eroding our intimacy and connection. So I want to just be vulnerable and let you know I've been too scared to speak my truth to you because I don't want to blame you, because you're a great guy and I love you and I love being a co-parent with you. However, I'm so tired. I'm so deep deprived. My hormones are also changing because I'm feeding and I'm working and I need help. And I don't know what the answer is, but I know I need us to work it out together. And I know you're a great guy and I need your help. So you're taking responsibility for your own feelings there. You're being in communication of your own truth. You're not making him wrong, but you're sharing how you feel in a vulnerable way that will actually activate his masculine, because you're not attacking him and going, you don't this, you don't that, you don't this, you do that, and all the disappointment is being projected. Energy in motion. I love that, says Rihanna. My energy needs to be love when I am seen through racist eyes. Oh, yeah, my God, you're giving me goosebumps. Rihanna has just said, energy in motion. My energy needs to be love when I am seen through racist eyes. I could just bawl my eyes out right now, because those people, that guy, Derek Chauvin, that had his knee on George Floyd's neck, I promise you with every cell in my body, that dude is a wounded child that has power issues and is dominating because he is deeply inferior and insecure. And that dude is now going to be in jail, and he is going to pay for it in jail. Unfortunately, we have to treat the source of this dominant power plays rather than the symptoms. We've got to treat the symptoms. But when the looting starts, the shooting shouldn't start. The healing should begin. Rihanna, you've just made my day. Yes, we've got to take the higher ground and we need to send love, because those that are looking at us, you have no freaking idea what they're thinking, just like I didn't know what Lucia Cardamone was thinking. But instead of instantly getting defensive and triggered and judged, and they're judging me, that's just more judgment. That's just more separation. That's just more isolation. That's just more disconnection from humanity. Send love. Send love. Send love to yourself and send love to the people around you. Saskia is saying, my friends, yes, that really resonates with me. So Saskia, my tough love coaching sister, stop being the victim. Stop acting like you don't have the resourcefulness within you to communicate in a way that's going to touch the heart of Aiden and open him up to meet you in ways. But you've got to be, as you said, you got to put the fear aside. You got to be vulnerable, like Rihanna. You got to speak from your heart and let him know how you feel, not what he's doing wrong. But begin with acknowledgement. Begin by saying, what I've been reflecting on myself in this relationship, and what I can take responsibility for is I've been judging you. I've been disappointed. I've been scared to communicate my needs. I'm exhausted. I'm stretched. I'm frayed. And I can't do it the way I'm doing it, but I've been too scared to speak because I don't want to trigger you, because I want you to know I love you, but I can't do anything because and the other thing you have to own, Saskia, is I'm also feeling jealous that I don't get this time with Max. But what I can also be responsible for is when I'm at work, I'm missing Max and feeling jealous about the time you get. But then when I'm at home with Max, I'm feeling pressure of work and housework and cooking and cleaning. So I need to stop. I need to slow down. I need to just become aware of what I'm doing. I need to give up being the victim. And we need to communicate in ways. And Saskia, here's the coaching I provide my clients who are experiencing the same thing. Together, get a big piece of butcher's paper. Together, write down all the chores, because everything takes energy. Putting out the bins takes energy. Folding washing takes energy. Cooking meals, buying the food, breastfeeding Max takes energy. And if the energy balance is out of balance, resentment's going to kick in. So you're doing work, you're breastfeeding Max. We need to start mind mapping all the other things that take energy in the home. And we need to elevate an agreement or create some other resources and solutions. But ask Max, rather than tell Max how it's going to go, say, Max, can you see where the energy is going? And can you see how I might be so exhausted? And see what he says. And say, Max, I'm really committed that you get quality time and physical and words of affirmation from me, and that we get back to, and I get, physical touch and affection and, or, tangible gifts and acts of service. But we got to make that promise and make that agreement. And if you make the agreement for Max to step up in the house and for you to let go of the scared energy and worry, then you got to keep that agreement. And that's about keeping your word. So I've said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. It makes me feel awful. Well, you just got to clean it up, honey. You're not in love with him because he's not giving you what you love. So of course you're not in love with him. You love him as Aiden. You love him as the man. You've created a beautiful soul in Max. But you're not in love with him because he's not demonstrating he's in love with you. So you're both there, dams, empty, where what you want to be is floating, like ducks swimming in those dams and quacking. And I don't know why I'm getting dams and ducks, but anyway, that's what came. You want to be splashing around in the water of each other and having fun and being playful. So, hey, Diane, Saskia, what are you hearing? Number one, less whip, more wand. Acknowledge yourself for the efforts you're taking. Number two, drop the judgment and come from love and compassion to Aiden, because if he's lost his job, I can promise you he's going to be going through his own journey. Saskia's just done a picture of ducks. Max is the baby, hun. Max is the baby. What did I say? Oh, sorry, I said it the wrong way. Thanks for correcting me, friends. Yes, have a conversation with Aiden. Breastfeed Max. And clearly communicate your needs in a way of not making him wrong, and see if you can come to an agreement of sharing the housework and sharing the load, because it's energy. And if there's no agreement, well, then you've got to have another conversation about resources, because you cannot do it all. So Saskia, share with me, I don't know, maybe, anyway, Saskia, share with me, what have you learnt and what are you going to do as a result? And thank you, of course, to this community who are providing love to you, Saskia, here on Instagram. And to those on Instagram, what are you hearing for yourself? What did you hear about a relationship, a connection with someone? What are you hearing for you? 2 ducks in a row, exactly. Yes, I'll make sure I don't get those two confused. Do that. I hear you, Saskia. I thought my husband could read my mind, says Mary. Hey, Kylie. So Saskia, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to have a conversation with Aiden? Are you willing to share how you've been feeling without, judgment or, putting him down? And are you willing to share your vulnerable heart and make requests of what you need and seek agreement? Are you willing to do that? And if you're willing to do that, when are you going to do that, my love? Because this community, we're going to hold you accountable, and we would love to hear from you on Friday of how it went. By the way, Danielle Kane, if you're on here, please make sure you give us an update on how your job hunting is going. So Saskia, what are you going to do and when are you going to do it? Hey, Catherine, she's feeling hope. Rihanna, I loved what you said before about sending love through your eyes and through your energy. So Saskia, we're going to wrap up shortly. Just want to hear your commitment. What are you going to do? Need to get my ducks in a row. Exactly. I'm hearing that it's crucial to know, so this is from Claire. I'm hearing that it's crucial to know what we want and need first before we can expect anyone else to help with those needs and wants. Amen, Claire, exactly. And we have to give it to ourselves. It's the whole saying, if you're not getting the love you want, you've got to give the love you want. Saskia, I'm sick of complaining. I will do it tomorrow. It's Sunday night here and I will post back. Great. So stop complaining, because complaining is just manifesting more of the disharmony, and do it with love. Okay, less whip, more wand. Saskia, acknowledge yourself. And I promise you, that's where all the situation lies, is you're feeling resentful in your relationship, and therefore you're not present because you're getting to be right about your crappy beliefs about yourself and Aiden and what he's not doing. And then your communication's ineffective. Take responsibility for your own feelings, get clear and communicate them with love inside of a commitment for something else, okay? And be vulnerable. And as I always say, speak your truth even if your voice shakes. Elish says, do it with love, not fear. Yes, please read Catherine's message above. Yes, I'm getting to that. Catherine's message above. Totally hearing this, but the relationship, myself and my boss at work, there is so much tension at the moment. I think we need to sit down and both let each other be heard. Yes, Elish, 100%. Kathy, I resonate this. Do it with love, not fear. Yes, Jordan, g'day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here. Yes, beautiful. All right. I am going to look forward, Saskia. I hope that provided something. Please type in your top lesson that you got, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on Instagram, where today we unpacked Saskia's concern about wanting to be more present with her son Max, but what the source of her dysfunctional state and disharmony in her feelings is she's feeling resentful in her relationship, and she's being a victim of circumstance, upset because her expectations aren't being met. She's withholding communication, and those two things need to be resolved. So Saskia has agreed that tomorrow she's going to have a heart-to-heart. That's why it's called heart-to-heart, my friends. A heart-to-heart, not head-to-head, not ego-to-ego, not power-to-power, not battle-to-battle. A heart-to-heart. That takes vulnerability, that takes courage, that takes the willingness to be seen, and that takes great leadership to not make others wrong. But please also, Saskia and everybody else, when you're communicating with someone, please don't say, you make me feel this. No one can make you feel anything without your consent. You have to be responsible for your own feelings. No one makes you feel anything. That's your responsibility. People do stuff. How you feel comes, as Rihanna learnt, from how you feel about yourself. Okay, so never go to Aiden and say, when you do this, you make me feel this, you make me... No, when this happens, I feel this way. Thank you so much. Top lesson, communication from the love lane. Yes, heart to heart, Saskia. Have an intention, by the way, when you speak to Aiden, have the intention of connection, of love being present, and forgiveness and camaraderie, and communicate. To communicate is to commune with another. Raina, thank you. I have no control over racism or racists. I only have control over myself. Sending out love keeps me in my power, and love is the frequency that will heal the planet, and it happens from within. We need to heal our projections. We need to heal our judgments. We need to heal and stop talking white lives matter and black lives matter. We need just to say life matters, and life matters from the inside out, and it's an inside job. So let's begin with ourselves. I love you. I love this community. I love that you choose to spend your Monday morning, the beginning of a whole new week, and today here in Australia, a whole new month. We've got one more month to the end of the financial year of 2019-2020. Please, as I always say, less whip, more wand. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. So please, become a devotee. Fill your cup with love and go brew you. I hope you got some value out of that conversation. I'll be back on Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please remember to write in your questions. DM me on Facebook and DM me on Instagram, or just type in after you see this message your question that you would love answered, so we can help you get unstuck on Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go well, many blessings. I love you, and please love, 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 love. That's what we need. I love you. See ya.